Alright, welcome back to the channel. You can probably tell from the title we're going to do a top 10 favorite Digimon games. So these are some of my favorite Digimon games, some games that I've really enjoyed over the years. To make it a little bit more interesting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work from my most favorite game, because I feel like everyone knows my favorite Digimon game is Digimon World. So I suppose let's kick it off with that one. Digimon World obviously is, like, in my opinion, okay, and this is very split. I know the original 3 games is kind of like what really divides so many people, that in the card game, I suppose, just because it's just, there's so much variety within those games. But for me, Digimon World was my first Digimon game. It was actually my first monster raising game. It was my first kind of experience with an RPG. It was just incredible for me to kind of like get to play. I still have a lot of fun when I go back to it. Obviously nowadays when I do randomizers, which if you haven't checked out my randomizer streams, do try jumping in them. Some mental shit happens. I'm actually shocked that worked, because I didn't expect it to work. I expected it to crash the game. Oh, what one we get? What the fuck? Oh, the best Digimon. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. But as far as the game itself, the game is unreal. I love being able to like see your progress when you recruit Digimon to the city. Like traveling around File Islands, bringing all these Digimon to the city, getting them to open up stores, restaurants, or arenas or whatever. It's just something that's really cool, that you can see your progress. Unlocking all these extra spaces that you can go to. So like you can unlock to go to the freeze land, or to go to the canyon, or into the drill tunnel, and then into a volcano. It's mad how many different biomes are in this game, and it's like it's so condensed. Like the game actually doesn't feel that big, but traveling around it just makes it feel like this massive world, even though it really isn't. The evolution is probably one of my favorite evolution systems within any video game. Just being able to, depending on how you treat your Digimon, being able to get different like monsters based on whatever input you've had with that Digimon. So if you've neglected it, you're gonna get this like piece of shit that's just gonna follow you around. It's not gonna be any use to you. But then if you treat it really well, you can get like this big like cyborg dragon. There's so many cool things about Digimon World that I would love to make a full video on it. I just don't feel like my skills are quite there just yet. So yeah, moving on. Number 9, Next Order. I know a lot of people, Next Order really isn't it. But I mean, like, if you look past the whole, like, Next Order gives it 2 Digimon, which I think is just a huge mistake. I don't like the 2 Digivolution, like 2 Digimon system that they have going on there. It's cool for Jogras, but for actually, like, maintaining and raising those Digimon, it is a massive pain in the ass. And it almost spoils the game for me. But what saves the game is actually just the whole, like, the tamer point system. So I mean, you can save up your tamer points and get new skills or whatever to make raising your Digimon so much easier. That's what saves the game for me. Having the dojo, I can select the Digimon that I want to digivolve to and kind of like block off other ones. I can unlock the stats that I need, which wasn't actually in the first game or Decode. It's just that you can actually see your progress and how you can get to the Digimon that you want to have. Some of that stuff is just amazing. And again, the Jogras in the game, like, having EXE evolution in the middle of a battle. So your Digimon, like, dies, and rather than sending you back to the city, if your bonds and all are strong enough, you can still digivolve in your battle, and in the middle of a battle, and revive your Digimon and continue with the fight. Again, it goes back to the whole thing of like building your city. This time it builds off of a very kind of like Japanese, like traditional Japanese type village, which is cool. I do like that. It's one thing though I kind of preferred with Digimon World was that it was all random kind of shit. You know, it was like just like a cardboard box for a house, an oven for a restaurant, a toolbox for a shop, all this kind of cool stuff from Digimon World 1. I felt Next Order kind of lost that stuff. But saying that, Next Order had a massive world. Like, whatever Digimon World felt like, Next Order was just 10 times that. Like, Next Order was just a huge world. Now, I will say the world isn't as interesting as World 1, just in terms of how the environment looks or whatever. But it's still a really cool game. I still love it. So much that I can go about. But I do actually have a review for that game up on the channel if you want to have a look at some of my thoughts, where I kind of go through pretty much every detail in that game. So number 7, Redigitized Decode. I know I really love the VPet games. We'll get through these. But anyways, I love Decode. It has so much cool stuff. It introduced the Joker system into the World games through your memory. So your Digimon died, you could actually put it into a memory, and you could, you know, I think it was 5 times you could use it for like its specials or whatever. You can keep it there though and use it for Jogris to Digivolve or whatever. It was kind of a cool way. It was how we got like Piledramon into the game and some other Jogris Digimon. It was just a really cool system. I honestly prefer that to Next Order, what they done there though. I feel like they done that an awful lot better as well. What they done was the battles or whatever from Next Order were very slow, but in Redigitize it was very similar to what they done with Digimon World 1. So the reason I put it lower on the list compared to Digimon World or Next Order is just that one, it hasn't got the nostalgia or the charm that comes with Digimon World 1, and the other thing is just the tamer system on it, like the tamer points, that's just not there. So in other words, it's kind of like just another Digimon World 1 but with less charm and more Digimon, but less features than Next Order. So that's kind of my reason for putting it there. Moving on. So here's a game you probably haven't heard of, staying in the realm of you know, VPets and stuff like that, is actually Pocket Digimon World. Pocket Digimon World comes on, this thing is called a Pocket Station. Now I do have a video that goes in an awful lot more depth than I'm going to go into here on this. I'm going to leave it up on the screen somewhere there. You can have a look at that. But yeah, basically you just have a Digimon on a device that's essentially just like a pocket version of Digimon World. You can walk around File Island, you battle different Digimon, you can unlock different pieces of like art or concept art or whatever that came from Digimon World 1 that just never actually made it to the game. It's just really cool, like museum for Digimon World. Some really cool information on stuff that happened kind of leading up to that, some like outside information. Now unfortunately the game is all in Japanese, but it's still a lot of fun. It's an awful lot of fun to kind of like mess around with, train different Digimon. The fact that you can Jogris and battle your Digimon if you had a friend who has another Pocket Station, there's a lot of cool stuff with it, and it's just no reason that I just love like the VPet stuff. Like, no, it's like Bandai used to do some cool shit with VPets back in the day. I really wish they'd go back to doing that. But yeah, check out Pocket Digimon World. Really cool game. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I have to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Zenin TCG. Zenin TCG would like me to let you know that they're taking pre-orders for the Pulsemon BE Memory DIM. As well as that, if you pre-order a Pulsemon BE Memory DIM with any other item from the store with a value of $30 US or more before shipping, then you can get a free Digimon fan-made Rookie Pixel Series 1 sticker pack. But that's not all, as anyone who has ordered from Zenin TCG before is aware that whenever you get your order, there tends to come with it like some Digimon stickers that you normally get inside now. So these are actually normally designed by Curry Noodle Art, who, to be honest, he does a fantastic job. Like honestly, I love these. I've got a Gilmon as well. I've got a couple of other ones, a Biomon as well. They're stuck on my laptop at the moment. But as well as that, Curry Noodle Art is going to be selling their very first fan-made Digimon fan art book on Zenin TCG's store, as well as some sticker packs. This is a great way to support not only Zenin TCG but also Digimon fan artists out there. And Zenin have actually told me that if this does really well, then they'll be looking forward to commissioning other Digimon fan artists out there. So yeah, do consider picking up the art book, the stickers, and also pick up the Pulsemon BEM. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thanks very much to Zenin TCG for sponsoring today's video, and yeah, let's go on with the video. Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. So I love these games. I'm gonna lump the two of them in together because they kind of like connect. If you get the collection that's out on the Switch or PC actually as well, you've got the two games in one, which I do highly recommend you pick up. They're more a traditional JRPG, but they've got a really cool focus on a story that's actually a little bit darker than you'd normally see for Digimon as well, which is really cool. So it's a lot more kind of like mature than what you'd be going for if you were going to play Pokemon. I think when it came out, a lot of people compared it to Persona, which I kind of see it as a more lighter version of Persona myself. But yeah, I think it's still a really cool game. It has like the regular monster collection that you normally see from a Digimon or a monster raising game. There's the farm where you can train your Digimon on the farm. You can kind of like give them different foods, increase their stats and stuff. You can put the stuff down on the farm, like you can give them punch bags or whatever to help them increase their stats while they train. There's a lot of cool things that they're doing with Cyber Sleuth. Now, I think the most interesting thing is obviously just the story. It's a very text heavy game, so if you're going to play it, there's an awful lot of reading in it, but still, it's still a really good Digimon adventure. I do enjoy it, and I do think that you should go check it out. So number 5, we have Digimon World 3. Now, Digimon World 3 is a weird game for me. I love it, but I also hate it. Okay, so Digimon World 3, for me, I love it just because of like the whole traditional JRPG stuff of it. I love the turn-based battles. I love kind of like the little gimmicks they have where you've got like the blast gauge, you can just like automatically digivolve into Mega, the different branching evolutions you can unlock, all the different Digimon you can kind of find through getting their DNA and stuff. Is the world, the sprites, there's a lot to Digimon World 3 that I absolutely love. But the backtracking just drives me insane. It's one reason I haven't finished the game, because it's just so much backtracking and it just gets kind of boring. I feel like that's what kind of eats up the time and makes the kind of like makes the runtime of the game extend by so much. Is just the amount of backtracking you have to do. There's no real fast travel, which is a pain in the ass. I kind of wish there was a fast travel system in the game. There is one, but it sucks. And basically it's just you can go from port A to port B, but you still have to do like a lesser, shorter distance of a travel, which will still encounter random battles, which the random battles in this game is just holy fuck. They can just, you could literally barely move after beating a battle, and you will end up in another battle. It sucks, but I still love it. I still enjoy it. I still love like the Digivolution system. There's so much about the game that I do like, but the backtracking just really, really ruins this game for me. Number 4. So this one you might not know, you might not be familiar with, and some of you might say that's not Digimon, but we've got Atmon. Digimon Universe Atmon for the Nintendo 3DS is actually a lot of fun. I do really, really enjoy this game. It's almost like a card game style Digimon game where you can kind of collect Digimon, but you can put them in a deck. So you fill up a deck of different Digimon and it kind of shuffles them out, and you get to select which ones that you put out depending on the ones that you select, because you can kind of combine them. You can get different Digimon, or I keep saying Digimon, they're actually Atmon, sorry. But you can get different Atmon to come out in the middle of a fight, and by combining them you can actually, that's your form of evolution or whatever. But you can also use your combinations to increase the power of the Atmon that you're putting out. But it is a very interesting game, very entertaining game. You can kind of find data for each of these Atmon by just traversing through the world. There's like an AR field you can go through, and if it's almost like if you've watched Ghost Game, where they kind of like going through this, like, I don't know, it's not the real world, but it's not the digital world kind of thing. You can kind of traverse through stuff like that. You can see the Atmon kind of like just traveling around the world in front of you, and you can just walk into them, pick up their chips, or you can battle them or whatever. It's just some really cool stuff that you can do in there. The game itself, it's very simplistic. It's just kind of like, you know, like Pokemon basically is, for lack of a better comparison. It's still a really cool game. I like it. The only problem was it only released in Japanese. It's a pain in the ass to kind of play through, but I do love the gameplay, and I kind of wish that they kind of come back and do a little bit more with that, but hopefully just release it in English. Be better for everyone, I think. Number 3, Dawn and Dusk. Dawn and Dusk for me was kind of like, I took a very long break from Digimon, like a couple of years. I wanted to get back into Digimon, but I didn't want to play Digimon World. I've kind of been playing that so much. I wanted to play a new kind of a game. So I was looking, and I think the game that was out around that time was actually Digimon World, Dawn and Dusk. I didn't actually realize that they were like one and the same set until I got Dawn, and then I think my brother picked up Dusk, and two of us were playing together. Like, holy shit, it was like we could trade Digimon and stuff. It was basically like a lot of stuff that you would see from Pokemon, where you could like trade Digimon, you could battle your Digimon together and all this. There was stuff like that in there, but there was also other stuff where you could breed your Digimon together. There was so much cool stuff that you could do in there. My problem with Dawn and Dusk was the mazes. You kind of see mazes and stuff come back up in the story games recently, like with Hacker's Memory of Cyber Sleuth, but just on a lower scale. But with the story games back then, it was ridiculous. The random battles, again, like World 3, were just everywhere. The scale of the mazes was just ridiculous. There was just so many of them. And then on top of that, the quests were more like fetch quests. So you kind of like talk to Digimon A, go to Digimon B, come back to Digimon A, and then go back to kind of hand in your missions or whatever. It was a cool game in theory for a handheld. It was kind of like a cool game for me to get back into Digimon because of the whole like monster collection kind of stuff. Was a little bit of a different kind of experience for me. But would it be my favorite? You know, obviously not. But I'm glad I played it. I mean, I still have a lot of cool memories with the game. I still like it, and I still pick it up from time to time. But for me, it's just it's not one of the best Digimon games I've had. I mean, around that time with Digimon Story, DS, or whatever, that they're all kind of samey. The mazes were just, it made the game a chore basically. I can't remember if I was counting up or down, but I'm on number 2, I think. We've got All-Star Rumble. I like All-Star Rumble. I know a lot of people hate All-Star Rumble. It's got its problems. I know a lot of people prefer Digimon Rumble Arena like 1 or 2, but for me, I kind of prefer All-Star Rumble. It's got like that kind of like, not necessarily an open world, but it's more of like an exploration kind of like aspect to it, between each boss fight or whatever, which I kind of enjoyed. Walking around, collecting the different cards, buying different cards or whatever with all the different the money you can get. There's some cool stuff that All-Star Rumble tried. The problem with All-Star Rumble was it didn't have online play. For a game around the time that released, coming back out around the PS3, Xbox 360 area, I mean, it should have had online play. That would have made it so much better. The different battle modes for 2 players and stuff like that. It was a fun game. It was a very challenging game. The more you got on, the different like fights you'd find, they were just insane. Especially when I think it was like Examon was the final boss, if I remember right. That thing was just, it was insane. Actually, I think the bosses changed depending on what Digimon you actually picked up, wasn't it? Yeah, there's like several different Digimon, the final boss you could unlock by beating them or something. I think that's how it worked. It's been a while since I played it, but I do remember a lot of stuff that I just really enjoyed about it. Now, I do remember there was also some enemies you'd find on the way to your boss. Some of them, like 8mon, they're not too bad. You just run around, kind of hit them a couple of slaps or whatever, it's fine. But then when you got to stuff like Tortamon in that water level, that stuff, it ruined my day. It wrecked my head. Just because he'd spin around, he was such a pain in the ass to hit, and there was so many of them as well. It was just a bit of a head wreck. But as far as like a Rumble game, I still prefer it. I kind of want them to go back to play Rumble. Rumble was kind of like Smash Bros for Digimon. I don't know. Hopefully they'll go back and do that. I think a Rumble game would be really cool. I think a lot of you would probably like to see that as well. This is going to be a game a lot of you probably won't like, and probably is definitely not in your top 10. But for me, it was, and that was Digimon Masters. Now, for the gameplay itself, no, it's shit. I can't stand it. But I used to have a lot of fun with Digimon Masters. It was myself and the wife kind of moved in when we were just kind of going out or whatever. We moved in together, and we didn't have a whole lot of stuff to like do. Like, we couldn't afford to go much places or whatever. So 2 of us had our laptops. We kind of sit there and play some Digimon Masters together every couple of evenings or whatever for a few hours. It was great. I enjoyed that a lot. So that's kind of like why I like Digimon Masters so much. But what I liked about the game itself was probably just the exploration. The exploration of Digimon Masters. I don't know if any of you remember when it was like the original Yokohama village. That's where most of my memories are with it. Is when they had the original Yokohama village before they made it into the one that's actually from the anime, where it's almost like a small town. Before it was kind of just like a couple of huts here and there. That's kind of like what I have more memories with. I kind of like that. I like the exploration, like it says. I liked then when they expanded it, put in the different places for you can go to the anime stuff from the anime, like Digimon Adventure, going through the digital world from there, Primary Village. There's a few things that I loved that they done. The other thing I hated about about Digimon Masters, a lot of you are gonna agree with me on this, is the gacha system. So basically, I didn't like to throw money into it. Like I says, we didn't have much money to put into this game. I don't think we even ever really threw money into it at all, to be honest. So what we would do is we'd find the mercenary eggs, and we would spend all this time grinding for data, and we would try to put the data in to try and hatch these eggs, and they would constantly break. It was a pain in the ass. It was a game, like it says, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I couldn't go back to play it now. Oh my god, I couldn't. I know they've added a lot of stuff since. I know they put in like the X antibodies and stuff, but for me, it's just it's not my game. It's not for me. I couldn't do it. I don't think it actually functions here anymore either. I think I'm probably gonna need a VPN or something if I did want to play it again. But I know they kind of cut access to it for Europe for some reason, some strange reason. So yeah, those are my top 10 favorite Digimon games. Let me know what your top 10 favorite Digimon games are down in the comments. Let me know what you think of some of the games that I played. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.